Nازنین was on hunger strike once before in solitary, and we didn't realise until it happened. What happened in that case was initially she was punished and various visits were cancelled, and then as she got weaker, her family were brought in to plead and to intercede and say, listen, please start eating. So that would be my working assumption as to how the authorities will handle it. Of course, this is a much higher profile and higher stakes for many people.
Forgive me, I've only had a very quick look through your transcripts of what the Revolutionary Guards were saying to Nازنین. Are you able to just, first of all, clarify for us how explicitly they sort of put the offer to Nازنین to be a spy? Were they actually using words like spy or agent, or was it more dropping hints? And then, once you've explained that, I'd just be very keen to get your reaction to the Revolutionary Guard asking Nازنین to be a spy after God knows how many years of very publicly saying she's a dreadful spy.
No doubt that she had been warned that the only way she was going to get out was if she agreed to, become a spy. I think probably, the words would cooperate with them, inform, follow up on certain organisations. It was DFID and UKA, which is the same thing, and this organisation called Small Media. In terms of how serious it was and what they mean, my sense of it was a way of scaring her. And of course, one of the things we've learned in the past week is that everything is filmed. Everything is filmed. So the potential for that to be used to discredit her later on is there. And I think there's a way in which all of this mechanism is about controlling and scaring someone. Particularly when under pressure, which is what, of course, our campaign has put the authorities under. So, yeah, I mean, how serious, I don't know.
The pressure on her is immense. Shireen, you wanted to say something about it.
من مایلم راجع به روش مامورین امنیتی در این مورد صحبت کنم. وقتی که کسی رو دستگیر میکنن معمولا دلیلی محکمی پسند ندارن و اینها شخص رو به صورتهای مختلف ایزوله میکنن و ضعیفش میکنن و بعد مجبورش بهش توصیه میکنن که اعتراف کنه و گاهی اوقات هم شکنجه های شدید میدن و زندانی به خاطر و زندانی مجبور میشه به چیزهای غیر واقعی اعتراف بکنه و بعد همون اعتراف رو در دادگاه دلیل محکومیت خود شخص میگیرن و میگوین خودش اعتراف کرده که این که جاسوس بوده یا این کار خلاف قانون رو کرده پس بنابراین محکومه.
How is your daughter right now without your mother? This is in Iran, and also I would like to know if the health condition of Nازنین could complete the 3-day hunger strike, because it's very tough.
I think she's still too little to really understand what is going on. So Nازنین said to her at the last visit they saw each other, hopefully soon that you and I will be released and we'll go home. And she corrected us and said, Mummy, I'm not in prison. You're in prison. I'm not in prison. And so there's a way in which she thinks of Mummy and Daddy in prison, but not her. She's living her life, and her life is with her grandparents. And, she picks up on the mood of the family, and the mood of the family at the moment is pretty fragile. But she's 4.5. 4.5, you live in the moment. So I mean, look, in all honesty, we never know how bad Nازنین's health is, because she doesn't get assessed, and when she has been assessed, we've not been able to see the records. Without doubt, going on hunger strike is a big thing, and she's fragile. I think, if I'm speaking, trying to be calm about this as a husband, if it's a hunger strike of a day or 2 days or 3 days, that's a completely different thing from if she decides to extend it. And broadly where I sit, and like I said in the statement, we'll see how the Iranian authorities respond, and we'll see what needs to happen. So if she doesn't get the treatment in the next 3 days, and she decides to extend, then I will start to panic. And actually, I was quite calm walking into this press conference. I was a lot less calm after hearing Shireen speak. But yeah, my job is to try not to worry too much.
Yeah, but it's a worrying situation, that's for sure. I deal a lot with slavery and ex-slaves, etc. And when you see the effect of this trauma, all this trauma that she has got since 3 years almost, it's a very long time. The PTSD is very complex, and so anything she adds to that trauma she already has is very important, enormous, and frightens me.
So I don't think there's anything coherent in terms of endgame from Iran. I think there's always different bits of Iran pulling in different ways. My sense is that so Naznin had been warning to her family, to the authorities, that she would consider taking matters into her own hands, and then later on clarifying she meant a hunger strike. And we sent various letters saying the same thing. So it would have been in the general atmosphere. I mean, in my experience of Iranian prison authorities, they're fairly hard-nosed. You know, they're fairly used to prisoners going on hunger strikes. They're fairly used to all sorts of complaints, and you know, they instinctively, you know, they wait until you actually do it before really responding.
به نظر من اگر که صحبت نکنیم وضعیت نازنین بدتر خواهد و ما امیدواریم با کمک شما ژورنالیست ها صدای نازنین بلندتر بشه. نازنین بیگناهه و فقط گروگانه.
نازنین is innocent and she is only a hostage.
و دنیا بایستی بداند که حکومت ایران چه جور حکومتی است.
And the whole world should know that what sort of the nature has the Iranian government, Iranian authority.
My sense of the timing, yeah, it is significant. I think probably there was quite a lot of publicity around the 1,000-day mark and the Christmas mark. The Foreign Secretary was very explicit in his criticism of Iran. He said that Naznin is being held as diplomatic leverage and she's innocent, and she's not the only one. Like, he was as clear as that. So there's in that conversation there's quite a lot of anger towards the Foreign Secretary as to who does he think he is and how dare he push us around. My reading of it is that there is an internal dispute between different parts of the Iranian authorities, a part that wants to solve the issue of Naznin and other dual nationals, and a part that wants to stand its ground and show it's tough and strong and you know, against the rest of the world. And it feels, if I'm honest, that that's kind of a scrambling manoeuvre. You know, Naznin, I mean, I've heard many stories of people being threatened and promised to, you know, if you cooperate with us and become a spy, then you'll be allowed out. My memory of all those things, and the first couple of days of Nazanin's interrogations, like 1,000 days ago, there was those, but actually from fairly early on they didn't try and do that. So now it's an odd thing to be trying to, it's also an extraordinary thing. And that, as you see, I reacted to it very strongly against the Iranian authorities, wrote a very, very strong letter to the Foreign Minister. Also was very clear with the British, with the Foreign Office, the British Ambassador, that why I thought it was really, you know, I think for us it's really important this is clean when it ends. You know, and we don't get left with this leverage over her and over her family. And so for me, in some ways, one of the most ominous parts of a lot of the recent actions of furlough as well was the pressures on Naznin's family. That's why we made that public. That's why we made these manoeuvres public. Is to stop playing games with us.